and welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another weekend edition here of the WardiTV Monday, WardiTV Monday number 57, your weekly dose of WardiTV StarCraft. I'm Coach VIP with you, enjoyed by these amazing players, by the people in chat, and by my plushies as well. Welcome, one and all. We just wrapped up last night, of course, with the CranKy Gathers lower bracket finals. Now we are here with a catch-up stream of the WardiTV Monday. Here we go. Again, last week, unfortunately, we did miss out on both WardiTV Monday and on PvZ Cup as well. So this week, our plan is to catch up on those matches. It's a catch up on those replays. As a heads up, as a reminder, this is going to be a replay cast, not a live broadcast, as of course these events did occur last week and last night's WardiTV Monday we'll be catching up on in a couple of days as well. So we'll be catching up on those weeklies on those open cups. Otherwise, we're here to jump in. Hope everyone has been enjoying themselves. I hope everyone's had a great holiday and Halloween, I should say, as Halloween I think was over the weekend, maybe. Yeah, hope you guys had some great time. Bienvenidos, I see Slow Jones had Serious Black as well. Bienvenidos. Lady even. Bienvenidos. As we have our initial matchup, our initial PvZ, jumping into herO versus Solar. Again, for those who may be unaware, just because this is we're casting this at a different time slot and time zone, this is a weekly open tournament that Wardi has been hosting for quite some time now, since the start of since the off season last year, essentially. And this is typically at a more European / Korean friendly time slot when it comes to its start time, and likewise a weekly tournament on Mondays, hence the name. Not always on Mondays, sometimes it is on Fridays, sometimes it's on Thursdays, depending on when Wardi is available. Otherwise, sometimes does switch to a different day, but otherwise we are jumping into our first series. We're jumping into the quarterfinals of this tournament. Now the goal for tonight's broadcast, we're going to be jumping into the quarterfinals, then the semis, then the grand finals thereafter. Four matches in total, and here we go. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pylon, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the red Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the blue Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Here we go. As we jump into our initial PvZ, and we'll see how Solar will approach this. Welcome to Pylon. Pylon is one of the smaller maps in the map pool. Aggression is favored, and Solar, he almost exclusively does go for all-ins in ZVP. It is his go-to, so we expect Solar to cut workers at some point. I expect him to commit across the map. It's going to be up to herO to survive and to defend. Now, what I will say is that on this map, it is more difficult to be the defensive player. The rush distance by ground is short. The third and fourth bases are much more open and much more exposed, so aggression can be or is favored here when it comes to breaking these positions, and it goes both ways. I should say that as well, where herO can also opt to be the aggressor as well. He doesn't have to be stuck at home trying to defend, trying to turtle on up. He can instead be in the face of Solar, and we'll see if that's what he opts to do. I mean, it's herO, so I'm assuming so. But now, hatch gas pool, Solar force take the unnatural natural, so a bit of a more awkward setup here from Solar as we do settle into our game. So we are settling in. From here we have initial opener out of herO. And I also appreciate, Solar, he's one of the more active players when it comes to the open cups as well. Players like Solar, Rogue as well. Shin, he's a little bit more sporadic with when he signs up, when he shows up as well. But Solar, Rogue, these are players we expect to see on a regular basis in these open cups. They do what they can. They do what they can. When it comes to open cup coverage, we always jump on the Zerg player whenever we can, just so we can cover them while we can before we get into all the PvPs and PvTs. We'll get there. We'll get there, I'm sure. As of now, have our initial opener. Stargate is our take of choice from herO, which is to be expected against Stargate opener into a third base. What I'm really looking for, though, is the timing of the Twilight Council. We'll see if we throw it down at a more standard time or if we throw it down earlier. If it gets thrown down earlier without a forge, then it would be indicative of Glaive Adepts. We could even go for a +1 in charge as a bit of a cheeky build to try to catch Solar off guard. There are different possibilities here depending on the Twilight Council timing. Otherwise, it would be just be Stargate into Oracle into a third base. Then by the time it's around halfway done, then you can get your +1 Forge and Blink. So now we're just journeying, calming down. The first adept gets across the map, takes 2 shots to kill a drone. So far, it's turned away. When it comes to PvZ in general, in the latest patch, it has changed the least out of... Would I say changed the least out of all the matchups? I think so, actually. I mean, you can make an argument for TVT, I guess. I mean, but it hasn't really changed too much when it comes to its overall strategy. Obviously, there are little minute details that have changed. The big one, of course, being the Banelings. So the Baneling, because of its extra HP and because of the change of the Storm, Banelings can survive ticks and can actually be more effective aggressively across the map. Likewise, I would say the Storm is a much more powerful zoning tool than it once was. So Storm is, of course, going to be impacting this. The Baneling change as well. Spire, the change to the Spire does mean that Mutaplay is more accessible now, and more an option, especially on larger maps, less on smaller ones. As 2 eggs get shut down. Nice pickups here out of herO. So it does knight 2 of those drones at the same time, getting his third base up and running, and we're waiting for said tech of choice. Second Oracle does hit the natural, no Spore. Oh, quick morph in there, quick save out of Solar, nicely done. And you can see here the third base is halfway done. We have the Twilight Council, we have the Forge, we have +1 and Blink with the Horizon. Looks like there was a bit of a pause, and hopefully everything is okay. So we do bring it back. Solar, he's playing it safe, getting a Roach Warren. Often you do skip this, but as you can see, no Evo Chamber. So Solar, he's not going Ling Hydra, he's going into Roaches, and we could commit into something more sinister here. We'll keep an eye on the drone count. He should be getting a 4th base, at least just for Larva. But no Evo Chambers, no upgrades. That means there's a high chance that when this layer finishes, we start Overlord Speed, we start Drop Lords, and we can commit. I mean, I would say that by now we'd already have Overlord Speed on the way, though. Still building up, still droning. +1 and charge on the way. Interesting, not Blink. Now, with a charge-based opener like this, the goal, the hope, is that you're able to catch your opponent with their pants down without any Roaches. Unfortunately for herO, Solar did open up Roach, so he should have defensive Roaches to deal with said charge lots. If it was purely Ling Hydra, then Solar would be in trouble. I mean, he still kind of is, because I don't see any Roaches. Evo Chambers on the way. No trouble going Spire. Roach Speed. Is taking extra gases. Okay, Roach is now massing. Okay, Roaches are building up. Lings, they confirm charge. He sees all these Zealots, so I mean, I'm sure that's prompting the Roach production. Again, you would not be warping in Zealots at this stage of the game unless you did open charge. So Solar, he's fully aware. Double Robo. Okay. Double Robo on the way. herO, he did scout the Roach Warren, he knows. He knows the Roaches are building up and getting into double Immortal production. And again, a much different approach here from herO. But as I mentioned before, like, aggression is favored, and herO is taking a very different approach, which I do appreciate. Solar, he's going to be cutting workers here at 67. Roaches are amassing. We have +1 range on the way. We have Roach Speed on the way. And I believe Solar's just going to commit. 10 more Roaches. And if he can strike before the Immortals come online, then he can pull this off. But he's on a timer. Here we go. Queens are walking. At the same time, herO also moving out. He gets spotted. Here he gets spotted. Solar, he pulls away. And again, you can see that Solar, he has not made a drone in quite some time. He's just purely making Roach Ravager. And Solar, he can take this fight. But we mentioned this before, and this is really smart from herO. herO, he has no intention of pushing in and breaking the space. He has no intention of fighting. He's posturing to buy time for the Immortals. And it worked. It worked. I mean, the Roach army did turn around. The Immortals are on the way. herO, he's almost there. diving on the roaches. Piles that don't quite connect. But nice force field, catching on some of those roaches. And the immortals, they have arrived. Yeah, force fields on. Oh my god! Does slice up the army. Brutal force fields. That's a lot of roaches falling, and now here comes that immortals. And here's army's getting better and better over time. Solo, he's almost maxed out, but the soup does lie. And now we have the second immortal. Oh, we need more zealots, so we need more of a buffer. Up. As immortals are pushing in. Likewise, Archons go down. The immortals are looking exposed. So he wants them. He wants the immortals against the sentries. Sentry get picked off. Last Solar, he hasn't really touched the economy though, only killing 2 probes. Solar regrouping. Does back up, does regroup. Meanwhile, that's going to be 4 immortals. Ay, ay, ay. Once again, nice force fields, lock down the roaches. Just put them down. You know, here he kites well. No War Prism. Yeah, no War Prism. One of the immortals does get caught. He gets 1. He gets 2. Oh my god, barely not. Yeah, the immortal barely gets picked off, but another wave has arrived. Lings get into the mineral line, and Solar, has he done it? Has he broken the 3rd base? Looks like he has. Yeah, he has broken the base. Probes are falling. It's pure immortal to defend. And Solar, he can just keep rallying. He's just going to keep on rallying here. Solar, he's committing in. And again, it was close. It was close here. He was able to buy some time, able to build up the immortals, but alas, he just barely didn't have enough buffer for his immortals. Whew. And again, Solar has done it. As you mentioned initially, here I'm sure was hoping that Solar was skipping roaches, but then he was stuck with charge. Had to get into the immortals. And we did mention that specifically on Pylon, it is more difficult to defend. It is more difficult to turtle up on 3 and 4 bases. Like, as the aggressor, the map is helping you. And Solar is going for the kill. Yeah, they're immortals, but they're on their own. Immortals on their own, they're not really too terrifying. There's a bite to them. The immortals are falling one after the other, and Solar, GG, gets called. Solar takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG Solar, he does take a lead in the series, and again, these all-ins, they hit so hard on Pylon. herO, it looked like he was hoping that when it comes to all-ins, that Solar was going to go for a Ling Hydra heavy composition and Ling Hydra heavy all-in instead. So did decide to kind of lock himself into going for a charge base opener, which is less than ideal against roaches. So herO was kind of stuck in a really weird place. Of course, his end goal was to try to to deviate and get into his immortals, but as you saw, just barely didn't have enough time. GG. GG, well played. Despite the good force fields, Solar, he does overwhelm, and now we're going to be getting into game number 2. Solar takes a lead. Does take a lead, but now we go from the smallest map of the map pool to the largest map of the map pool. So the 2 extremes here, we just had a game on Pylon, and now we're loading into Maganatha. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Maganatha, we have the blue Protoss player. We have the South Green Protoss representing T1. It is herO. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. We have the red Zerg for Team Falcons. It is Solar. We go. Now, when it comes to all-ins, they are not favored on Maganatha. Maganatha is a very large map in the map pool, long rush distance by ground, and likewise has relatively defendable bases. I say relatively. This is not as defensive as Tokamak. I would say that rotations are a little bit more accessible here, just because the area in between the bases is open, so you can rotate in between the bases, over towards the 3rd base, or over towards the 4th base as well. But there are a lot of choke points. The high ground, the choke points often means that defending on these 4 bases is a little bit easier, and we often do see longer games on Maganatha because of that. Now, what I will say that yes, all-ins, they don't work as well on this map, and I would discourage going for an all-in here this time from Solar. But what is accessible? Well, you can play standard. True, you can play standard. Right now we have Hatch Gas Pool. We can go into +1 melee, into Ling Hydra, into like a lurker rush. You can try to be really tech heavy, rush into lurkers, and make use of that timing. Otherwise, something that we didn't mention, something that did cross our mind, was Mutaplay. right? Going into Aspire and going into Mutas is also viable here. If you can keep it hidden, it is a really good way to catch a Protoss player off guard and just snowball out of control. Again, only if it is hidden. If it gets scouted, then Protoss players, they can of course react and respond with stack defense, cannons, shield batteries, phoenixes, and shut that kind of play down. But in my mind, that's going to be like a viable option here, something to look out for Solar. We'll see if he goes Mutas, or we'll see if he goes into Ling Hydra. The likelihood of him committing into Massive Roach, like last game, is a lot lower. But we'll see. This is where mind games come into play, and there's also situations where, like, oh, you know, the map is large, and because of that, like, all-ins are not really ideal, so your opponent's being really greedy, right? Like, there's a chance that, like, herO, he goes into a Stargate opener, into a third base, he cuts gateways and takes up into fast storm, and takes up into fast splash damage, and suddenly he's vulnerable, and then bam, you can still try to all-in and try to take advantage of him anyway. There are cases like that. We can maybe try to punish a player being too greedy. So there are situations where that can still work. But for now, we're settling it. As usual, Oracle's on the way. Initial Oracle is on the way, being chronoed as we speak. So the pro game is not right GLHF because they play each other so often. I kind of like that most people in the ladder do it. They often do type GLHF. If they don't, it's often because they say it in the lobby. Very often, like, if you're in the lobby chats before the game starts, like, that's when they say GLHF. So it's a little bit different. Like, when you're playing on the ladder, you don't have lobby chat, right? Oracle does break in. So far gets one drone. Faster Eva Chamber here out of solo this time, so plus on melee into a more Ling heavy style. So already he does deviate from last game. That's plus on melee. Oracle zones away, we're gonna get another drone. Yeah, so far 3 drone kills, not bad. 3 drones do fall. The Oracles do take a lot of hull damage, but they do get away. Both Oracles back off. Twilight Council and Twilight Council and Forge. This time it's going to be a bit of a later Twilight Council and Forge. So last game it was around the halfway mark with the third base. This time it's as it's finishing. This should be plus 1 and blink. Nice round with the Lings. Gets 1 to death. Does get 1. Solo back at home. He's getting ready for the Adept Harass. Going to be 6 Adepts moving out. Safety Roach Horns on the way. Uplink upgrade. So again, herO is playing standard. There's a higher chance now that herO, he might stay on a bit of a lower gateway count and get his 4th base up and running. We'll see how greedy he plans on being. What I find interesting is that the Adepts do turn back around. They do come back home. So herO does race back. Solar, he was forced to make all these Lings to defend against the Adepts. And he won't be able to make use of them. Yeah, nice defense, nice movement out of herO. Pulls away. And Solar is playing Ling Bane. He cancelled the Roach Warren and did throw it on the Bane Nest instead. We did mention how Banelings are much more viable now in ZVP in the new patch. So it's going to be Ling Bane Hydra. Meanwhile, here is playing it safe. He does go for a Gateway Explosion, Temple Archives on 3 bases before he expands. As he was getting up to 8 gates. And now just vying for map control. Likewise, Solar, he's been droning, now getting a 5th expansion up and running as well. Now Solar, at this point, he has a choice to make. Either he commits into Lingbane Hydra and maxes on Lingbane Hydra and just pushes across the map to break the 4th base, or he starts to tech up, drone up, and work towards Hive and work towards Lurkers. So we do have kind of like a choice to make here for Solar. Does he commit and double down? The scary thing about him committing into a lair tech all-in is that herO was playing safe. Remember, herO, his 4th base is delayed. Delayed in favor of what? Storm. So if Solar does commit, if he commits into a lair tech all-in here, then Storm will be ready in time, and that's going to be favoring herO, as it's going to be a very fragile army. Oh, nice catch. He takes down both Oracles. Both Oracles go down. Solar still focusing on his own army production. And hero's turtling. Yeah, he's turtling up into Skytoss. And again, he's been playing safe. Oh, hero's moving out. This can favor Solar. Solar's getting ready. Doesn't have Bailings ready though. Nice wing control. Does press his High Templar. 1 storm does land. Gets 1, gets 2. Does land 2 storms. Oh, the Hydras take a lot of damage. Take a lot of hits. And herO should back off. Yeah, herO pulls away. Solar still, focusing on his lair tech army. He is going for a lair tech all-in. So basically he's maxing out. He's maxing out on Lingbane Hydra. He is not droning and he is not taking into Hive. He's not going for Lurkers. He's not doing anything else. Purely Lingbane Hydra. herO is out of position. Yeah, he's racing back. Storm is buying some time. Oh. That's what, 4 Hydras going down. Bailings are getting to the mineral line. He's going for it. Oh! You know where we headed. It does go for the mineral line. Doesn't either warp in. Probes, they try to escape. And 5 probes go down. But the army comes in from behind. And herO, he will collapse on the army. The Hydras are so low. Storm did land. Nice flanking Lings. Gets 1. Gets 2. Takes down all the Templar. But last Solar, he's running out of steam. He has to back off. He spent all of his Bailings. He spent most of his Hydras. Speaking of bleeding out even more Hydras. And he only killed 5 probes. He killed 5 workers. He did reset the High Templar count, true. That's the most important part. He was able to catch all the Templar. But remember, the longer this game goes on, the better it is for herO. herO is getting further ahead. herO is building up his Tempest. Making 2 Tempests at a time. So Solar, he has to end the game soon. And again, he's been all in. So either Solar breaks his 4th base or he dies trying. Storm and Lingbane. Bailings, they do try to get past. No major connections. I believe that was the final storm. There's 1 High Templar left. And the High Templar's coming in. Bailings to get into the mineral line. 8 probes are going down. But the base survives. Yeah, the base survives. All the Hydras get cleaned up. herO holds. Oh, here he holds on. And again, the scary thing, slowly over time, the Tempest count is getting higher and higher. This is why we said that Solar's on the timer. And here's army's just being more refined as they'll run by across the map. Distract Solar. Gas is on the way. Oh, never mind. I was going to say, if he takes his gases, that's indicative of trying to take up. Oh, herO overextends. Yeah, herO should not be here. Bleeding out Stalkers. Okay, nice win for Solar. Here he has to back off. Prone's getting surrounded. So here making some mistakes. More stalkers getting caught out. Very nice catch. And again, this should not have happened. Here bleeding out how many? I want to say that was what, like another 10 stalkers. That was stalkers on the left, stalkers on the right. Expensive losses for herO. And Solar, oh no, he can still pull this off. Catching more stalkers. Yeah, we're getting messy here. We're getting messy. Gets one? Nah, not even. The Tempest to survive. And the Tempest reigns supreme. Spire now begins at the 12-minute mark. Now, this should have been a bit of a cleaner follow-up from herO, but herO did make some mistakes here, right? He overextended with the stalkers on the left, he overextended with stalkers on the right. He bled out a lot of stalkers, and that, again, should not have happened. So Solar is still in this. Solar still has a chance if herO overextends. The one thing that herO didn't do in regards to slipping up, he did at least preserve every Tempest. Every Tempest still survived. We have 9 Tempests now. And Ling Bane Hydra's not really built to deal with this. Storm on the flank. High Templar goes down. There's a cancellation on the 5th base. At the same time, ooh, Banelings don't quite make it in. Zelce get across. Oh, they kill the Hatchery. Hatchery goes down. 1 Tempest, 2 Tempests finally fall. herO, he was distracted with the Zealots. But GG gets called. The all-in fails. And herO, he will take game number 2, tying up the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. herO does tie up the series. Again, as we mentioned, Solar, he was all in, and Solar, he had to kill then and there. He had to kill the 4th base. Alas, he failed to do so. Again, herO did make some slip-ups. He did overextend, so that allowed Solar to have a further chance to try to break him, but GG, well played. In the end, herO did persevere, and now we're getting into the ace match. Let's go. Here we go. Thinking against an army like Ling Bane Hydra, Close High, nice. I mean, Storm is solid. Like, Storm are fine there. As you saw, like, the Storms were connecting, the Ling Bane, especially because remember, you're the defensive. Your goal there is to turtle up into Sky Toss. So Storm is even more effective, especially in the latest patch, because of its duration, because of its zoning potential. It's all about buying time for Tempest, right? Like, that's the win condition for herO. Is just buy time. Is survive. And here we go. We're getting into our next game. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Leylines, we have the South Korean Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. For T1, it is herO. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. With the red Zerg player, we have representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. I think herO could afford that. If you're spending your money on a Robo, on a Bay, on Colossus, it isn't just that Storms can do better when it comes to being a defensive tool, but also, like, as we just tried to mention, the end goal is that you're behind it, getting a second Stargate, a Fleet Beacon, and you're spending your money on Tempest, right? Your goal isn't to, like, shut down the army and try to, like, counterattack with a ground-based composition or anything like that. Like, the money that you're spending, the money, the resource that you're investing is going to be in Sky Toss. So that's why going like Robo or double Robo into Bay, into Colossus production is not as viable. Here we go. Here we go. So getting into ley lines. Now, as we get into ley lines, on this map, it is a smaller map compared to Maganatha, so aggression is more favored than we saw in Maganatha. So far, we've seen nothing but all-ins out of Solar, and that's what we're expecting here as well. Here, though, I would say that Solar's going to be more favored, depending on what kind of play he goes for, though. Again, like Game 1, we saw a Roach-based all-in, Roach Ravager-based all-in, I should say, on Pylon. Game 2, we saw a max out on Lair Tech of Ling Bane Hydra. Here in Game 3, we could see Ling Bane Hydra again as well. That is another option. I mean, you can also play Roaches. Like, yeah, so Solar here has options on ley lines. Likewise, herO also has the option to be more aggressive as well. Referring to something like 8 Gate Blink Stalkers. Or even opening up charge again, like we saw in game 1. As hero's pylon blocking. Okay, interesting. Does pylon block to delay the third. You're just being a little bit annoying. Stargate opener out of hero. Yes, from here we are getting our third base. Oracle's on the way. We'll keep an eye open for the Twilight Council timing of hero. We'll see if he gets it early. We'll see if he gets it later. As the Oracles do move out. Gonna be on solo to keep up. As the Oracle pokes in, no Evo Chamber, no plus on melee. This solo's going there first, I would assume. He has the gas for it. It's keeping up with the Oracle. Lings, they move out for a counterattack. The third base is somewhat exposed. Yep, there it is. It's going to be Lair first into the Roach Warren. No plus on melee, no Lingbane Hydra this time. Okay. So this is similar to game number 1 where Solo's playing Roach, and now suddenly there's a chance, there's an opportunity here for him to maybe commit with pure Roach Ravager again. We did mention how these Roach-based all-ins are much more viable here than on Maganatha, as the bases are more open and the rush distance is shorter. So we'll keep an eye on Solar. This doesn't have to be an all. Oh, hello. He cancels the Roach Warren. A lair is almost done. Gases are being taken. Are we going into Spire play? Are we going into the Spire? Are we going into Mutas? Bold move here by Solar. If so, this would be plus on melee. Hydras. Okay. The other one. So no Spire, going for the Hydra Den. Interesting choice here. Now, it's been a while. There is a build. Jesus, we're going Mass Oracle. We have a 5th Oracle on the way. Okay. He's crazy. Now, what I was gonna say, there is a build at Solar he was very fond of. I think it was at the start of the year or end of last year. I don't know if you remember, but there was a Hydra all-in that Solar would go for where he does not get any upgrades. No plus on range, no plus on melee. Instead, it'd be very light on Lings and very heavy on Hydras, and it would be basically a 3-base all-in where you don't saturate the 4th base. That's what this looks like here for Solar. Oh no, he's taking up. I mean, he will lose the base. Yeah, the base is going to go down. I mean, we have Mass Oracle. Jesus. Here, he's not been stopping. We have +1 in charge on the horizon as well. Here, he's getting fancy. So we have late upgrades here for Solar. I do think that you did plan on going for an all-in. Otherwise, +1 range would have started a long time ago. Like, it's a very late upgrade, late tech as well. So a bit of an awkward start here for Solar. And herO, we're up to 6 Oracles. With this, he can dive into mineral lines and focus on the spores. Speaking of, dives into the main. Doesn't see an opening yet. He rotates around. Hydra's in position. Nice movement here by Solar. Gets one. Gets one. Gets, oh my god, almost 2. Gets one of the Oracles. herO does pull away. Hive is on the way again. We're trying to rush, or we're trying to tech up it towards lurkers. And we'll see who strikes first. This time here, he's incorporating all the splash damage, getting to a 4th base, getting into a Robotics Bay, and a Fleet Beacon, and a Temple Archives. He's getting everything. This feels a little bit greedy here. herO is taking in every direction. While getting a 4th base as well. And we'll see if we can get away with it. Now, Solar, he should hit first with his lurkers, right? He should hit first. Speaking of, he doesn't have enough gas, but he's trying to build up his lurker count. Hydra Lunge? Okay. He's getting his hive upgrades. Now, when it comes to the investment of these oracles, they did at least force a cancel on the 4th base. They at least kept Solar busy. Solar's trying to be active. He still has to wait for his lurkers. As he's waiting, hero's building up. Again, hero's army it's just been very chaotic here. Remember, he got the bait. Unless he canceled, right? No, he canceled. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. So he canceled the base, so 0 Colossus production. That's why we have Immortals instead. So my apologies. Didn't notice they did cancel. That makes more sense. That was not the time for Colossus. Building up his Immortals. Solar's moving in. So far, the Archons are getting in position. Link's going to be forced back. We come in for the flank as well. Very nice flank. Yeah, nice surround. Hydra's distracted. We get a full surround of the army. Solar, he will lose everything. Lurkers go down. Hydras go down. The Oracles survive. And herO can now counterattack. herO takes a massive lead. Solar now going for the Spire. Now trying to take up. But again, that Lurker timing hit too late. Remember, the Lurkers were meant to hit earlier, but he had no gas. Had no gas. And Solar's in danger. Solar, he's in danger. I mean, it's been a quirky game, so I don't necessarily blame Solar for kind of being a little bit ill-prepared for his Lurker timing. You don't often play against, what, 6 Oracle? There's Revelation. It's only 3 Lurkers. There's nothing stopping herO. herO he can just walk in. He can and he will. Breaks through the main army. There's Cloak. And with that, he breaks through all the links. GG gets called. There's nothing left, and herO will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semi-finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. With that herO, he will take the series and he will advance on into those semis. Shout out to Solar for again making it to the quarterfinals. And again, Solar, he was able to hold his own. He was able to catch out and punish herO previously when it came to his all-in on Pylon. But here in game 3, again, it was a bit of an awkward start. Remember, we did see initially it looked like Solar was going for a Hydra all-in, but then he had a very late decision to switch out, to tech out in towards Lurker tech. One of the reasons for that was his 4th base was shut down. We saw the mass Oracle go in, so Solar, he had to change his plans. So he had a really rough start just because he was hyper invested into his early Hydra timing, and then it didn't really hit, right? Like, he had to switch out of it, which means he had to go for the later went for the later infestation bits, so went for the later upgrades. He had to rebuild. He had late 4th base as well, so everything was delayed there for Solar. And with that, herO took a lead. So take a lead, get comfortable. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we're getting into the semi-finals. Un momento.